Hey everybody, my name is Seth Fraser. I'm the Chief Communications Officer for Canaway, and we're going to talk about one of the most exciting and underutilized tools ever created on the internet. It's going to be an endless source of incredible leads for you that's going to give you the power to reach out to people that you had no idea you were going to be directly connected to as you utilize this tool. And oddly enough, it's actually something that's inside of Facebook right now, and it's probably something that you weren't aware of. It's something called the Facebook Social Graph feature. Now, if you go and log into Facebook today and you look at your account, one of the first things you're going to say to yourself is, I don't know where to find this graph search feature. So let's just break it down and make it very, very simple. First off, I want to tell you a couple stories about some of the folks who are within Canaway. We've got a gentleman by the name of Damon D'Amico out in Denver. He's utilized this very tool as we've had our events. We've had events in Denver, Colorado. We've had events in Atlanta, in Orlando, and even in Puerto Rico. And as we've had those events, before Damon stepped off the plane in each of these cities, he had members and interested prospects who were ready to meet with him by the time he got to the event. You can do the exact same thing. You don't have to do this from event to event. It's a great way to do it. We're filming this right now as we're hosting an event in Dallas, Texas. So most of my examples today are going to be talking about how you can utilize this in the Dallas area. But as I'm talking about this today, keep in mind, you can target any area on the planet and reach out to people and be able to connect with them utilizing this incredible feature. So let's start off with this. What is Facebook Graph Search? Well, most people probably think that that little search bar at the top of Facebook is something that's only utilized to go and find friends, maybe be able to send them messages or look at their wall on Facebook. But it has a lot more power to it, and until recently, that access wasn't available to everybody. In fact, a lot of people were added to what they called a beta phase of the tool as it rolled out, and they didn't even know it. And until recently, all of America was just recently added to the beta feature. So if you live in America, you should already have access. Now, if you don't, I'm going to go over to my screen right now, and I'm going to share with you a link that's going to be very important for you. Getting started, if you don't currently have access to Facebook Social Graph, you're going to want to visit this link to request access. The link is search.fb.com. And as you go to that link, you're going to find a few links there, and they're often going to say try a search. Once you click try a search, you're added to the list automatically for the beta test feature. Now, for folks outside the US, they're being gradually added in. That includes areas like Australia and the UK, that sort of thing. And some areas will have access, some people will have access, while others don't. So if you go into your Facebook and you start trying to utilize the Facebook Graph Search, which I'm going to explain to you how you'll know whether or not you're a part of the Graph Search feature here in just a moment. But as you start to try and utilize some of the things that we talk about today, if you don't see them popping up on your screen, don't get frustrated. Just go to this link that we're talking about, search.fb.com, and after you click that, try out a search and you'll be added to the list, and eventually you will have access to this powerful and important feature within Facebook. What does this feature do for you as a member of Facebook, and how can you use this to connect with others? Well, let's start with this. If you're a person who only has, let's say, 10 friends on Facebook, you don't have a very large social network at all, believe it or not, you still have access to millions of potential people to connect with and talk about the Canaway program with. I'm going to give you some very specific searches that will help you reach out to and find the correct audiences to present Canaway to, and then we'll talk about some of the more non-invasive ways that you can present Canaway to them as an opportunity, because we don't want people thinking that we're spamming them. We want to give them an opportunity to react to what we're talking about without getting pushy with them, just the same way you and I wouldn't want to be sold the first time somebody contacts us. We want to be able to create a relationship, reach out to these people, and actually set up you might call it an interview process, so that we can both become friends. Once we find out we're friends, we can talk a little bit more about what we want to get into, which in this case is Canaway, obviously. So we've gotten started here. You've requested access, and here's how you're going to know if you've got access. I'm going to switch my screen over to the Facebook homepage here. This is my particular homepage, and the search bar on Facebook is where the Facebook Social Graph Search feature is located. So as you click on your search bar at the top, most people, and you're going to see automatically up at the very top a particular search that I recently did. Now, most people just utilize this feature to find a friend of theirs. For instance, Billy Funk, who does a lot of our trainings here. I can type in his name, and of course he's going to pop up immediately. That's absolutely fine, and that's a great way to use the feature. However, if you really want to start to dig in and find people that you're not currently connected with and be able to reach out to those people, here's one example of a search that you can do. And I'm going to tell you guys, the particular wording of these searches is very, very important. So what we're going to do right now is we're actually going to go to the Facebook homepage, and you're going to be focusing on a search that I've performed here, and it's ready to go right on the screen. It's actually going to show you the type of wording you can type in to be able to create and connect with people that you've never met before, that have never been part of your social influence or your social circle. And again, like we mentioned, even if you're just friends with 10 people, you're going to find an astounding amount of results that show up when you perform searches like this. Now myself, I happen to have lived in the Denver, Colorado area for a long time, so I went ahead and focused on a search for, as you'll notice, the exact wording, friends of friends who live near Denver. So that's going to include the surrounding areas like Aurora, like Lakewood, Inglewood, Boulder, Colorado, areas that are within usually about a 45-mile radius of the area. And then it's going to say that they live near Denver, Colorado, and that like cannabis. As you do that, and of course, the reason we're using the word cannabis, obviously you're familiar with Canaway and the focus that we've got. A lot of folks out there have had a focus on finding cannabis for other uses, but they didn't really realize the power of the type of things that can be done with CBD as the focus of it. So we're looking for people that like cannabis because we want to work with like-minded people who have an appreciation and respect for one of the most powerful things on this earth. However, most folks didn't really realize exactly how powerful it was, so we're going to take that opportunity to educate those folks and potentially end up with some great new business partners who are really focused on helping us to change the planet together. So that's why we're using that in this particular instance. Keep in mind, there are all kinds of things that you can put at the end of that sentence if you're looking for entrepreneurs, and I'm going to show you those types of searches here in a moment. Entrepreneurs, marketers, and so you can really focus your search. You can focus it in on age groups, people age 19 to 25, males only, females only. So as you start to realize the power of this search, you're going to start to see you can connect with the exact types of people that you want to focus on, and these are going to be potential lead resources for you. So in this particular instance, we've typed in the words friends of friends who live near Denver, Colorado, that like cannabis. Now the word cannabis can show up in any page on Facebook, so that's not necessarily just the page called cannabis, but any page that references or refers to cannabis is going to show up in these results. Now what happens here is I've got a fairly long list of people I can work with, and as I scroll down to the bottom, that list will grow, and it's going to load more results. As you see, it just popped up there. Each one of these people, one of the first things that and I guess I kind of skipped this step, so I want to backtrack a little bit. It starts out, after you do a search, it starts out on the word posts, and I clicked the word people. And that's generally where you're going to want to be, because this is who you want to connect with. We don't want to necessarily dig into specific posts or pages or photos or that sort of thing. We want to get to the people. So that's going to be your most popular link, and that's what you're always going to click every time you do one of the searches we're performing today. The next step after we've done that is we now have a link that shows up next to each person, and you'll notice I'm not friends with these people, and yet I've got the ability to send a message to them. What kind of a message could I send? Well, let's go ahead and click on the message link. I'm not actually going to send this message at this time, but I am going to write one up that would be a way that you could approach people. Now, this is going to be up to you how you want to speak with others. I know that I mentioned one of our great members, Damon D'Amico, out in Denver. I know one of the things he's done is he'll type up a message that simply says, we're looking for like-minded entrepreneurs who are interested in working in the world of 100% legalized cannabis in a work-from-home industry. If you're interested in finding out more, I'd love to connect with you. I'll be in Dallas, or I'll be in Puerto Rico, or wherever he's heading on these particular dates, and I would love to meet with you and tell you more. It's uninvasive. It tells people, it says, hey, I noticed that you liked cannabis, and I'm looking for like-minded people in your area that want to work from home and be able to share a product that's actually changing lives and that focuses on the other side of the plant, CBD, instead of THC. So let's go and write an example message here. Hello, Adam. I was looking for like-minded individuals in the Denver area, poor spelling there, who are interested in cannabis. I'm working with a company that is doing some very interesting things with cannabis and would love to chat with you. Okay, now I'm not going to send this message, but I am going to tell you a little story from one of the trainings that we recently did in a very tiny little town in Louisiana. We had one of our members there for what we call our Super Saturday trainings, which, by the way, if you ever have one come to your area, move heaven and earth to make sure you're there, because they're really impressive trainings. You're going to learn a lot. But as she was seeing us go through this training, she went and did exactly what I'm showing you to do. And within the 20 minutes of when I started the training to when I finished, she actually had 22 people who had responded to her own messages. She was actually copying and pasting the same message. You can do that. In my case, I like to make it a little more personal. I like to put the first name in there. If I didn't want to do that, I could just take this portion of the message and copy it and paste it. And then I could go through this list. I'm going to close this out right now. I could go through this list and I could message, and I could just paste the message over and over and over. And if I did that, I have the ability to reach out to thousands of people doing this. And this is unbelievable because I don't know any of them. So if you're out there and you're dying to find a place to get leads, and you're thinking to yourself, I can't afford to find leads on the internet, this is your lead source, and this is an incredible goldmine for you. Let's talk about a couple more example searches so you get a great idea for how this works. I'm going to switch over to my other program here, and we're going to take a look at, and you're going to see most of these examples I have in here have Dallas, Texas in there. That's because this is where we're doing our regional event over the weekend, and so it's kind of a focus for us for this particular time period. We're opening up our great satellite office here in Dallas. We're very excited about that. Friends who live in Dallas, Texas. Very simple. That's going to be people that you are directly connected with. That's going to be your first and most important and probably hottest lead source, because these are people you actually know. And a lot of people don't realize, people move around a lot. We connect with people. We lose touch with them. We don't realize where they've moved, and they might move around the country. Somebody that you know somewhere likely has moved somewhere that you probably didn't realize they were in. So if you do this, you're going to find, oh, wow, I can't believe that Bob moved to Dallas. That's really cool. I'm going to connect with him since I'm going to be in town for this event and chat with him and tell him about this great cannabis industry that I'm working in, this work-from-home business called Canaway. Then you've got one step removed, friends of friends. And you're going to say, you notice in the first search we did who live in Dallas, Texas, we probably should have done near Dallas, Texas, because that's where we really get the expansion. That's where it's going to include areas like Fort Worth, Arlington, areas like that are all around the Dallas area and not necessarily right there in Dallas. As we do that and we go to the next step, we have friends of friends who live near Dallas. Now, if we want to expand that even further and focus in, because if we just do that, I'm probably going to have 500,000 results. It's going to be a massive amount of people to connect with. So if I want to focus that message a little bit, then I'm going to type in something like cannabis. And that's why I use that as a qualifier, because a lot of folks that are interested in that plant haven't really understood the power really behind it. And that's what Canaway provides. Now then you can move forward from there. You can find pages liked by people who like cannabis. So you can connect with other pages that are out there, and on those pages, if you go ahead and like those pages, in many cases, depending on how the administrator has set up their security privileges, you might be able to post to that page and connect with people in a specific area. For instance, people who are fans of hemp and the hemp movement, who have meetings, and there's a lot of meetings that happen around the country on a daily, even weekly basis of folks that are meeting together and they want to talk about the power of this plant. You can post messages to those kind of boards, and you want to be careful with that. Obviously, you don't want to get too pushy. And everything that we talk about on Facebook, it's really crucial that we don't get real salesy with people. We want to connect with them, create a real relationship. So as you create these posts, please put some thought into them, and don't simply say, join my Canaway business opportunity, because you're just going to push everything away from you. What you want to do is make sure you connect with them first. Once you find out that they're interested in finding out more information, send them a private message instead of responding to them publicly. So if you create a thread on Facebook and somebody says, I'm interested, tell me more about it, don't post the information below that in your link, because what's going to happen is that naturally cuts off all curiosity from that point forward. You've actually killed a curiosity chain. Whereas if you respond individually to people who post and you send them a private message, you're going to have a lot more people to respond to you, and you're going to actually be able to build a relationship with them and connect with them on a personal level. Then you've got things like favorite interests of people who like. So once I find out once I find some of these people in the Dallas, Texas area, I can find out what their interests are, and I can find out even more about them. So that way now I know that not only did I connect with Gary or Sally who live in the Dallas area, I also know that they like these pages, and I've got a bigger scope of who they are as a person, so that by the time I approach them with this opportunity, I know exactly who they are and what they're interested in, so I can give them exactly what they want to hear about. Maybe they're a home-based business, entrepreneurial style person who's all about the opportunity with Canaway and not so much about the cannabis side of the plant. That's absolutely fine. Now I know that, I can present the right opportunity to you to get your interest. And this is what's great about Graph Search, is it gives you that ability to find out who a person is before you've even met them. As we move forward, and this is one of my favorites right here, pages liked by marketers or any other profession who like cannabis. Or let's say you're talking about, and I've got this on the page here, pages liked by beauticians who like cannabis, or beauticians who like healthcare or who like wellness. There's a lot of great resources out there. I'll give you a great example. We've got a lot of folks who are using our bulk program to speak with people in tattoo shops. So you can talk about pages liked by tattoo artists who like cannabis, because at that point in time, they're using the salve to give to people at the end of their tattoo, and they're running through a lot of salve and being able to do great things with that. This is a resource that will connect you with people in those areas. If you want to break it down by area too, you can say pages liked by marketers who live near Dallas, Texas, who like, or I'm sorry, that like. That's the specific one that I knew I was going to mess up there, that like cannabis. So as you do that, this is going to give you an incredible picture of a lot of resources, potential people to be able to connect with. It goes even further than that. You're going to see some more here on the page. Pages liked by people over the age of 25 who like whatever it might happen to be that you want to focus on, who like working from home or being an entrepreneur. You can even say entrepreneurs over the age of 25. Who like, or who live near, or who live in Dallas, Texas. As you can start to see the patterns, and again, everything that's on the page here today, we're going to let you guys go through this. I'm going to bring this up one more time. I'm going to go back to the beginning of this document right now, so you can see specifically what you've got to write down, because these phrases are very, very specific. Again, if you don't have access, you can go to search.fb.com to request access. Just click on Try a Search, and then here's your example searches. Friends who live in Dallas, Texas. Friends of friends who live near Dallas, Texas. That like, whatever it might happen to be. And again, we've focused on cannabis for this example, but it's really anything that you'd like to choose. And you might be able to connect with people who are beauticians or who are really into art or whatever your own interests are, and connect with like-minded people and build an organization based around that. Pages liked by people who like, whatever it might happen to be. Favorite interests of people who like, same thing, whatever it might happen to be. Pages liked by marketers who like, whatever it might happen to be, or any other profession. So pages liked by beauticians, by tattoo artists, by vape shop owners, by novelty stores, by convenience stores. These are all locations that our Canaway bulk program is a fantastic opportunity to talk with these people and get in the door with them. And this gives you a great resource to find out who these people are, where they're located, and how to reach out to them when they're near you. You can break it down by age. If you want to work with a younger group, if you're working with a group that's starting a youth movement within Canaway, you can say pages liked by people ages 18 to 25 who like, and then whatever you might want to put on after that. So these examples are here on the page for you. If you're not getting these fast enough and you've been trying to write them down, that's okay. This video is going to be available for replay at any time. And I will tell you this, one last note, going back to the Facebook page here. As you start to send these messages, a lot of people are fearful that they'll end up in something called Facebook jail. Facebook jail is something that happens to you when you go out blasting a message and it looks at it as if it was spam. So one of the things you want to do as you start to message these people, I know I talked about the copy and paste thing. You can do some of that, but it's probably best for you to word each message individually to the person, kind of mix it up a little bit, and that'll keep you out of Facebook jail. When you get into Facebook jail, it means you can't send messages to people individually anymore until you've been with them for a while and they see that your activity is out there, that you're liking other people's posts or sharing other people's posts, that sort of thing. So until you get out of Facebook jail, you can't send messages. So be careful with that. But I will tell you this, the folks that have followed this training extensively, and we've been doing this for the last probably 2 months or so, have had incredible results. None of them have ended up in Facebook jail. And I think you're going to have incredible results as well as you start to reach out to thousands and thousands of people who you probably didn't know you were connected with. I hope you enjoyed this training today, and we look forward to catching you on our next training. We're going to give you more tools on how to utilize the internet for more free leads and resources. Thanks for joining us today.